Good afternoon and welcome to the Canada Summit Centre in Huntsville, Ontario, site for this year's Men's Recharge with Milk Tankard. This afternoon we have live coverage of the men's final game of this 91st Ontario Provincial Championship. The winner of this event earns the right to represent Ontario at the Tim Hortons Brier in Regina, Saskatchewan from March 3rd to 11th. My name is Ian Tetley and I am joined by my esteemed colleague Mary Chilvers, a former two-time Ontario Scotties representative and runner-up in the 1997 Scotties to Sandra Schmerler. This key final match will feature Glenn Howard from the St. George's Golf and Country Club in Toronto up against John Epping from the Leaside Curling Club in Toronto. These two teams making their way here through the A and B sides respectively of this championship. This is the third and final game for these two teams, with the winner taking all the accolades. Well, Mary, we've got two of the best. We got the 1 and 2 seed here into the final game. We couldn't have asked for a better setup. Obviously, Glenn making his way through the A side of this competition, John coming through the B side. Glenn's had the better of John in 2 games here as we get to this final game. Cody Moss and Sebastian Robillard were the other 2 qualifiers, but here we are today with Glenn and John.
Yeah, Ian, I think for the Epping team, they've been considered the favorite for the last couple of years, but have not delivered. I think they are no longer considered the favorite, and that just might be to their advantage. Of course, Glenn Howard, on the other hand, has dominated here all week. Glenn's got nothing to prove here. He's won this thing 17 times.
Well, obviously these two teams, just to introduce them once again, first off, John Epping with his third, Matthew Cam, second, Patrick Jansen, and lead, Tim March. This team is currently number 8 on the World Curling Tour Order of Merit. You know, day in and day out, they have been a solid team. They've had some healthy competition. They've had great ups and downs. They were at the Roar to the Rings earlier this year. They went 2 and 6, which wasn't the outcome that they were looking for. They still feel like they've got something to prove, and they need to somehow break through here against Glenn Howard. And then obviously Glenn Howard.
Yeah, obviously, so Glenn Howard being here 17 times. Glenn throwing skip rocks for this team. Adam Spencer throwing third. David Mathers throws second. And Scott Howard throws lead for this team. And of course, like I said, Glenn Howard has got nothing to prove here today, but he would love to win another one, and especially for the young guys on his team.
Well, you know, Glenn went through some upheaval earlier this season, even before the season got to start. He had Richard Hart scheduled to play third for him, his longtime friend, and all of a sudden Richie was just a no-go to start the season with respect to his knees. So unfortunately, you know, they are, or maybe unfortunately, they were able to get Adam Spencer to fill in, and he has done a great job. Earlier this year in the pre-trials, actually Glenn went through the round robin 6-0, and then ended up losing 2 after that, which, you know, to me is huge disappointment for a guy like him.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that's not on his resume is, you know, an Olympic medal.
Right.
You know, brother Russ has got an Olympic medal, and I'm sure he would have loved to try to add that to his arsenal.
Yeah. And Adam Spencer has just fit right in on this team. I talked to him earlier this week. He says, boy, it's fun playing on this team.
Well, it's fun when you know that you're competitive at the elite level of this game, and you know, great team, and he's got stellar players right from lead through skip. You know, definitely going to be fun.
Yeah.
The Glenn Howard team will have Hammer here in the first end of our game here by virtue of qualifying in the 1-2 game, and also because he came through the A side as well. The teams have had their opportunity to match their rocks, and the Howard team will throw yellow and Epping team will throw blue. All games will be 10 ends in length, and they'll get 38 minutes of thinking time. And we will be playing the 4-rock rule, just so people know that's different than the Grand Slam events.
Right. So with Glenn Howard having the hammer here in the first end, Mr. John Epping's just got to be careful with that sneaky Glenn Howard.
Well, I think one of the things, the big differences in that the last time that they played was in the 1-2 game. Every time John Epping had an opportunity for extra points, they ended up throwing a draw deep.
Right.
And Glenn made them pay severely for that.
Yeah.
You know, he was able to freeze a rock onto their rock, and it would kill their end, basically.
Yeah.
So the Epping team, if they do anything, they're going to have to control their draw weight a little better, and if they do that, I think they're going to be tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen a renewed vigor with respect to Glenn Howard and his team. You know, they seem to be really dialed in this week. Every one of them is really sharp. So, you know, the only difference is I think they've won most of their games, you know, fairly easily.
Yes, they have. They haven't really had their backs up against the wall.
So if they're going to be pressured here today, you know, as far as John is concerned, he's got to try to push this right down to the wire.
Yes.
You know, and that's when the nerves of the young team of Glenn Howard might start to show. Obviously, they've got the old dog there at back end that'll hopefully settle them down.
Yeah.
But, you know, even for Adam Spencer being at 45, he hasn't been in this type of situation a lot.
Right, exactly.
And for John Epping and his team, you know what? They're a young team as well, but you know they've been right here at this final game. How many times now?
I know.
So,
but you know, I think that I don't think they're going to feel the pressure like they have in other years. I think they felt that they were expected to win the last couple of years, but Glenn's had something to say about that. So they just gotta calm the nerves, play like they have been, make a couple of more key shots.
well, and the last 2 times that Glenn has beat them is wiped off the chart, so to speak, because it's one game to see who will represent Ontario at the Tim Hortons Brier. So here we are, start of the game, very first end, and 30-year-old Tim March from Toronto will lead us off for the Epping team. To me, that is one of the other key matchups in this game is going to be Tim March up against Scott Howard. They have both struggled to some degree with finding that correct draw weight.
Right.
And so I think whoever shines between these two guys can definitely put a lot of pressure on the rest of the team of their competitor. John taking a little different tactic. Historically, he has thrown it short of the rings. Here he's going to go into the rings. And Glenn's just going to say, okay, fine, I'm happy to throw it up and down the ice. You know, hopefully getting Scotty settled in.
Yeah, I've noticed since the playoffs hit, Glenn, to me, has played a little bit more of a conservative game. I think you would have seen him throw up the corner guard earlier this week.
Oh. Well, it's ironic how the last time these two played that Glenn had the hammer and John threw the center guard, but seemed to kind of get into a situation where they kept drawing and the ice kept getting keener and keener and keener, and then finally a couple of missed draws, and then Glennie got 2.
Right.
So Scott Howard, the 27-year-old from Midland, birthplace Midland, and lives in Penetang.
Well, it's nice to have an open end for these guys. They're not human if they're not a little bit nervous here in this first end.
What do you think? You think Glenn's got a pulse right now? You know, he's been in this situation so many times that
Yeah.
You know, I think this is like cutting the grass for him.
It is. This is just a regular bonspiel for Glenn Howard.
Glenn, obviously a 4-time Canadian and world champion, 7-time Canadian runner-up, which is just unheard of. To me, I think he is, like, if there is one curler that is the most decorated and one of the best curlers, like, I don't think anybody's got a resume even close to that of Glenn Howard.
Yeah.
David Mathers rolls his stone out of the rings, and this will give Patrick Jensen, the 30-year-old from Toronto, the opportunity to throw one back in the rings and find his draw weight. Well done by Patrick. David Mathers, the 26-year-old from Ottawa. I think David softed his release here a little bit. He's got to go to hit it. Well, getting just enough of that. I think for Glenn, he's actually happy to throw it up and down the sheet for an end here, just to get his guys settled in.
Right.
You know, it might have been the one time where John had an opportunity to, you know, put some heat on these guys out of the gate.
Good point.
Matthew Cam, our 27-year-old from Cornwall, Ontario. The third stone for the John Epping team. It's going to get his chance now to find the draw weight, and he's got really nice draw weight, top of the button.
Matt had a really good game this morning.
And that's exactly what John needs in this game against Glenn. Matt, you know, struggled in that game where he went deep on some of his draws, and I don't think he was happy with his own performance. You know, we'll want to make amends here. Well done by Matt. "45-year-old Adam Spencer from Guelph. A third man here for Glenn Howard, otherwise known as Crusher. Mary, do you know where the name Crusher comes from?
I don't. I just thought it's because he's a big guy. Is that not?
Yeah, it's, I think off the, if I'm not mistaken, the Bugs Bunny commercial, the old big Crusher guy.
Oh, dear. So first shot here for John Epping.
34-year-old that hails from Peterborough but now makes Toronto his home. I just keep moving that rock around a little bit just to make sure that they're not throwing in the same location again.
I ran into John's dad before this game. I asked him if he's nervous. He said, "No, I'm fine. I'm used to this now."
Nice shot from the 55-year-old Jedi Master Glenn Howard. John hoping to hang around in the rings here to force Glenn to make his peel to blank this end. Adam trying to make sure that they just roll this out. Well swept by both Scott and David here, and after one end of play, we will have no score. That's a blank end by the Glenn Howard team. So, Mary, this could become a little game of cat and mouse because, you know, I think John may just be relatively patient. He may go to the rings again this end. And whether or not Glenn will actually bite and go up the sheet again and hit it, or will he walk up and throw the corner guard?
Right. I think if you're John Epping, I don't think that's such a bad strategy. Let Glenn make the first move. Well,
it's does Glenn have to make the move because he's got the hammer? Huh? And it's the sort of the age-old question, right? I'm not going to make a move until you make a move, and so
calls it in again, Ian.
And so it's you know, the question is, do you try to lull Glenn into a sense of boredom out here? And so at that point, maybe he lets down his guard a little bit. Tim March being asked to throw this back onto the forefoot. And that's 15-1 between Hoglines. It's been very keen this week. As he slips to the back forefoot, I think by virtue of Tim slipping to the back forefoot, I think now they'll get Scott Howard to throw the corner guard. Some of the fans reacting to that.
They like this call?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, as any fan, you want to see some action, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think even we want to see action.
We do. Not touching this one.
Well, Scott slipping into the ring, so that may change the tactics of Glenn. Good looking shot from Tim March. Glenn asking for a normal weight hit here from son Scott.
Wants to have a little flop over to the other blue rock. A little comedy show going on here.
Yeah, how dare you defy your father out here? Oh dear. I think Tim March has softed this one, and I think he is flashed.
Not Tim,
Sorry,
Patrick. Yeah.
Patrick.
Oh,
Is he going to get just enough?
he just does.
Just enough. Well, very conservative nature by both these teams so far. It's almost like they don't want to give the other team an inch.
Yeah. Well, with that first corner guard slipping into the rings, kind of, I think Glenn will just want to blank this one out again.
Well, Mary, what's it going to take for John Epping to knock off Glenn?
Jeez.
You know, it's interesting, though. We had, in the last time they played, every time John kind of seemingly threw a double center guard, he always seemed to have chances.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if that's a little bit of the tactic he needs to take here. You know, it's kind of like you're throwing your neck on the line a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only beauty of this is that they both bank some time.
Yep.
In case they do get into some of the later ends.
Keep going.
Well, I just think Epping has to be careful when Glenn has the hammer and Glenn is putting rocks in play, because Glenn has that capability of making those beautiful soft shots.
Well, it's interesting that we've got blue screen up here now, Colin. Well, Adams takes it to the back 12 foot, which is not horrible, because Glenn's going to want to try to blank this end as well. Matt going to try to hit this and not jam it. It just spins out of play.
This front end for Glenn did go to the Briar a few years ago, playing front end for Mark Keane, as well as Matt Cam.
Well, Scott Hattard has been the representative at the Briar the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So 15, 16, and 17. 17 and 16 with his father. And in 15, playing with Mark Keane. And obviously Matt Cam was on that team, as was David Mathers. They're throwing those hard for just wide open takeouts. Well, I think this gives John an opportunity to settle in, though, too.
Mm-hmm. Be interesting to see now in the third end where John puts his first rock. I think he's still going to go in the rings.
See, this is not the game that Glenn would ordinarily like. You know, I think to keep his interest, he likes the guards. He likes throwing all the different types of shots.
Mm-hmm. Glenn will try to blank this one out.
The last rock of this second end of play from Glenn Howard. Trying to blank this end, try to hit and roll out. And he has done that successfully. So at the conclusion of 2 ends of play, we still have no score. And the Howard team will maintain the hammer. Hey, Colin, we've got blue screen up here. Does that matter?
Okay, so I think we're going for the guard here, Ian.
Well, what they may have tried to do is get the whole sheet all broken in, so they weren't going to get spurned by one side of the sheet being quicker than the other. Tim March looks like he's going to make this center guard perfectly. And away we go.
Mm-hmm. Game on.
Great scrubbing there from Adam Spencer. Here's a key shot right here for the Epping team. If Tim March can nose this, they will both be out of the rings, and he will have the control stone as long as it doesn't roll away. Good looking shot. Nice control by Tim March.
Great shot by Tim.
O'Neill, we got a blue screen up here, right? No, we've got a blue screen. Patrick Jensen gets probably the first opportunity to get one buried behind the two Epping center stones. Good looking shot coming down here. Just don't want to be deep. Really nice weight by Patrick Jansen.
So Glenn's going to make a play on these top ones, might even roll his shooter into the rings.
Well, David Mathers is the other guy up there with West Forget that can throw it really hard. Wow, look at that.
Jesus.
You know, when you can throw that hard and accurate, it just
Another look at it here.
Kind of makes that this game look silly at times.
So John's now going to peel this corner guard. And we're going to start all over again.
Well, like I say, both guys have kind of got to feel the comfort level with the situation that each one of their guys can make the shots. Yeah. And right now, I think John's just trying to get him into a sense of, I think he's trying to bore him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he knows that Glenn doesn't like this open, boring type of game.
Yeah.
That's my read of the situation.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Wow, how good is that? He can throw it Mach 1 and then put it and draw it to the rings. Great touch by David Mathers. Matt Cam just going to try to hit this Howard Stone now and hang around in the rings. Nice deft touch shown by Adam Spencer. Matt likes to throw him a little harder.
He does.
Well, Glenn Howard now is going to get the opportunity to throw the. He gets a practice draw here.
Nice shot by Glenn.
Look at that! Like, is Glenn dialed in with the weight? Look at that, right on T line.
Yeah.
Right where you like it. Johnny gets the opportunity now to hit that and hang around and force Glenn to once again throw the. So the irony here is that maybe this is why the WCF is moving to the 5-rock rule.
Right. Well, I mean, these guys try to put some rocks in play. It doesn't always happen. And then it becomes an open end. But
well, if John's trying to lull him into a false sense of security and bore him, like maybe he's doing a really good job, but he hasn't let down his guard yet, and he hasn't missed a shot yet. So
yes.
The O'Neill is Glenn's mic working. Well, as we start this fourth end of play, they have quickly thrown their rocks up and down the ice 3 times here, and each one of them has taken about 5 minutes off their thinking time clocks, when usually they take about 4 minutes each per end, so they should have 12 minutes off. So Tim throws a top 4-foot again, and now Glenn Howard is going to throw the cornerstone. Ooh, we've got a corner guard in play.
Now we'll have a game on here.
One of the updates in Saskatchewan, you're going to have Stephen Laycock up against Colton Flash. Colton was a teammate of Steve Laycock's last year and decided to go off on his own. So that's going to be might be a heated battle.
Yes. Apparently the semifinal is over at the Scotties with a score of 12-9 for wild card over Nova Scotia. Yeah, apparently just a wild game.
Well, that is a defensive battle. Trying to make the hit and roll here. He's really close to making this perfect. Almost. Great attempt by Scott Howard. Patrick Jansen now going to try to remove the Scott Howard stone and roll back towards the center.
So board weight hit here for Dave Mathers. Trying to hit this right on the nose.
This is the maturity I've seen in David Mather's game this year. Is that historically he's overthrown a lot of hits, whether they be peels or normal takeouts. He's always kind of got the weight up. And what I've witnessed this week is that he's had great control. He hasn't been overthrowing anything. So either he's being very well coached by Glenn. Great shot by Pat. David Mathers with the outturn double takeout, and if he gets lucky, he'll make the roll as well. Really close, really close. God, these guys are good.
They are so precise.
They make us rank amateur club curlers look like just that, just amateurs. Matt Cam gets the nice hit and roll. I think Glenn will take a nice little run at this with Adam Spencer to try to make the roll in behind the corner guard. See if he can get a 2 going here. Yeah, you mean like firm board?
Yeah, same thing.
Adam might have taken a little too aggressive run at that.
Wanting that roll. And so now,
Well,
as in the last 3 ends,
John's just not willing to bite yet, and Tim March they're just going to peel this corner guard, and you know they may wait till the back half of this game to try to get some stuff in play, and it might be 0-0 after 5 ends. Well, these guys just aren't they're not going to take any chances right now. I guess John is just going to be he's content right now to try to get this, push this to the later the end, later in the game, and let these guys just think about it a little bit.
Yeah. At some point, he'll put up the center guard, and obviously his goal is to force Glenn into a point so he can get that hammer.
Well, when a game is close, and the later it goes in the game, the pressure seems to move on over to the favorite. Now, is the favorite John, or is it Glenn?
Well, I think it's Glenn.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, we've had great ice conditions all week long here, so I don't think we have to be too concerned with losing the ice.
No.
Right to the bitter end of these games, they've been it's been 15.5 to 16 seconds for draw weight. And Glenn Howard makes that peel out, and that will be a fourth consecutive end of no score. It's now become a 6-end game.
It has, yeah. Yeah, so here he goes. He's going to put up a guard now.
I'm surprised the fans aren't cheering just for the call.
Well, let's hope Tim makes it.
Yeah. Yeah, please, Tim, get the guard in play. Might get a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Well done by Tim March. You just wonder if he'll put it, if this slips deep, does John do the double center?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, Glenn won't be happy that Scott put that deep. This is going to give Tim March the opportunity to either come down and freeze to him, or even just get it top 8 foot fully buried.
Tee right now, I think.
Yeah, this is why it's so important for Tim to really take advantage of these misses from Scott Howard.
Get it right down, locked onto it. Good scrub by Matt Cam and Patrick Jansen there. Glenn asking for Scott Howard to try to tap this rock through, if not even just split the center guard for 2 corner guards. 14 and a half. Great shot by Scott Howard.
Running good there, Patty.
Pat Jansen now going to try to get to the nose here, maybe even just make a quiet double takeout, and or even just roll his shooter further undercover. Line looking really good. Oh, they don't overcook it.
Just through.
Oh, lots of room, lots of room.
Hack. Go, John.
Great control there from Pat Jansen. David Mathers here, is he going to, no, he's going to jam this and spill out.
Yeah, he just tossed it out a bit on release.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is an interesting call that John's just going to try to hit. The only reason I don't like this call is that you hit this stone, and now you're just basically turning the sheet over to Glenn to get on the offense, and Glenn's going to go. Glenn will probably go directly around the center guard. And or he may nose this thing. Actually, he's probably going to try to make the long double and stick right in front of the other blue stone. Well, here comes a David Mathers M1 missile. He's gonna. I think Glenn would rather. Glenn would rather do this under. If he's going to play around back here. What a shot that is by David Mathers. Triple takeout. Hangs around, and actually he's directly in front of the other stone. So it's just like, now John's got to deal with it and try to pick it out. And then
yeah, he rolls to the perfect spot here.
Oh, well, the challenge is that John's on the defense here now, and now he's going to pick this out, and then Glenn's just going to go around the center guard.
Right.
Oh, he hangs around. I still think Glenn.
Glenn could come around, but
we may have a 0-0 game here at the end of 5 ends of play. Adam Spencer.
Good.
So here, just Rearranges the look here for Matt and Cam.
I think so. The way we're all frozen. Okay. Normal? Yep. Norm.
Well, they're hanging around with this one stone in the back of the 12-foot Marion, and from all sense right now, it looks like it's going to be another blank in.
Yes, it does.
The only difference, if John hits and rolls out here, it'd be whether Glenn would actually try to go around the center stone or not.
Hard tip. Hard tip. Hard tip. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
That gives John a chance here.
So this could be the little tiny break that
Yeah.
John was waiting for.
Yeah.
Like this could be the boredom of these first four ends for Glenn. You know, just kind of throwing these hits, not really getting to throw a lot of the touch shots that he likes to throw.
Right.
And so here's the first opportunity for John Epping.
So John just would love to bury this rock.
Where are you?
It looks a little hot.
Well,
Let it work. Line's gonna be fine. Not moving yet. Must be there. Get ready, Pat. Oh, okay. Oh, your line's fine. No, you're going over Barry.
Yeah, came right out the other side. It was mostly due to John to the draw weight, little bit heavy.
well, one of the things that I notice about John is to me, I think he takes a lot of tight ice, and then what happens is that he's overthrowing them just a tiny little bit, and by the time they get dragged out there, like that, this is all the way out the other side.
Right.
You know, if he's got 6 feet less weight, he's probably still coming out the other side
Yeah.
because he's so tight.
He's so tight. Yeah, like that's a huge miss for John. That was his chance to try to force Glenn to take a point.
Now Glenn's got an open hit to try to blank this end, to have our 5th consecutive blank end. Well done by Glenn Howard. He makes amends for his hit and roll out, and he blanks this end. So at the conclusion of 5 ends of play, we have no score. We will take a quick break here and be right back with you for all the action here in Huntsville. Welcome back to Huntsville, Ontario at this Canada Summit Center. Locations for this year's Men's Recharge with Milk Ontario Provincial Tankard. At the end of 5 ends of play, there was no score. That's so unusual for us.
It's very unusual.
Especially for two teams that like to usually utilize the free guard zone and play. So regardless, we're into the 6th end of play. Glenn Howard here up against John Epping. Glenn Howard maintaining the hammer into the 6th end. And, we saw the first little glitch in the armor of Glenn Howard. He hit and rolled out and gave John Epping the first opportunity to get a rock into a really good spot, and he ended up slipping deep.
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of a golden opportunity for John.
We kind of mentioned that earlier in the show that that John has struggled with his draw weight a little bit here. I think he finds this extraordinarily keen for his taste and his liking, but it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. These are the conditions, and you need to learn how to adapt.
Right. So center line guard and a corner guard here.
Well, hopefully that means we won't have a blank end. Tim March, the 30-year-old from Toronto here, being asked to bury one around his center stone.
We're biting 4 right now.
Good looking shot on this. Pat Jansen try to scrub this in and get it buried.
Oh, nice shot.
Oh, perfect shot by Tim March. Interesting though, ordinarily you would probably see Glenn Howard freeze on that, but he doesn't want to get into that type of game here with John. He would rather play a little safer and remove that stone. And if he did miss it,
Get the roll here too behind the corner. Well, Glenn had 2 sweepers sweeping 2 different rocks behind the tee.
yeah, you're only allowed to sweep, well, only one sweeper can sweep behind the tee line.
Board.
An honest mistake, I think.
Well, the benefit to Glenn Howard right now is that John's going to make a play on this rock in the back of the 12-foot. But for Glenn Howard, he gets to keep the play back behind the tee line, which for him, it sort of guarantees that he should score.
Right.
Great shot by Patrick Jansen here in our 6th end of play. Obviously, the winner of this game will move on to represent Ontario at the Tim Hortons Brier in Regina, Saskatchewan, March 3rd through 11th. The Brier going to be entertaining a new format this year too, Mary. Obviously going to a 16-team, 2 pools of play, and they even have a wild card game prior to the Brier to see who will get to the last coveted spot.
So I think John would really like to roll this over to the center line area. Get the play away from the wings. You know, Ian, it's getting late in the game, and this is not when John wants to give up 2 points to Glenn.
No, exactly. This first point could could really tell the tale of this game, whether John steals it or Glenn gets it.
Yeah.
I think for Pat Jensen, he would have liked to have moved that around, because this is going to give David Mathers a bit of a free run at the roll. And as we get late in the game here, the young guys might feel the pressure just that much more.
So a good chance here for Matt Cam. Play a lightweight hit on this and just try to roll behind the center.
Well, now that they kept hitting that stone as it starts to work its way up the sheet. Matt Can rolls here, he'll be really close to that button area.
Easy, easy. Oh.
It's really hard to get that roll.
Well, the problem is that on some of these shots, they end up overcooking the sweeping early, and unfortunately, the rock can't really recover.
Yeah. Get away from the corner.
Wow. It's kind of like there's a groove here now, so I think to make this shot, you got to bring the weight down, and so it can actually get out of the groove. I think Adam has nosed it here. I think we've had about, what's that now, 4 noses in a row?
Yeah.
Matthew Cam, the 27-year-old from Cornwall here, going to try to get to the inside on this Howard Stone and roll it directly behind his center rock. It's actually be in great shape just because of the location of the where he'd roll to.
This one's close.
Oh.
Better, but still open.
Well, Glenn is going to have to be cautious of the other Epping stone just outside the rings here, though, too, because there is a possibility of jam, but if he gets a little too greedy on trying to make the roll. Oh, he's really close to.
Oh, man.
Great sweeping by David Mathers the whole way down there.
Great sweeping here by Dave just to get it by that guard.
Now for John Epping, here's another opportunity to make this roll in behind.
Well, John might get a little curl in his rock. was close too. There's a nice shot.
Perfect roll by John Epping. Glenn not going to take any chances here. He's just going to try to run this center stone straight back, hopefully pick off the Epping rock. And if he does that, since he's running he's running Epping stone onto Epping stone, the only other option for Glenn or for John at that point will be to go around the corner guard. Oh, great shot by by Glenn Howard. Glenn threw that so clean out of his hand. He had the guys close the whole way, and sure enough, he makes the pick. Well, for John Epping, this is 2 ends in a row with his last rock where he's had opportunities and has opportunity here to get one buried.
Wait, good. Okay, your line's fine. Yep. Whoa, close.
Got lots of room.
Yep.
Starting to move hard now.
Okay, whoa,
Good scrubbing by these guys.
They don't want to over curl here, come out the other side.
16-3 on that for Hog to Hog.
I think you need a hair more. I think you need a hair more ice.
Glenn's wondering if he can get at that rock. Play the run back.
Well, for Glenn at this point, he doesn't want to relinquish control to John. Like if he throws the draw, he makes the draw, he takes his 1 point.
Yeah.
But if he can blank this end and maintain the hammer into the 7th end, that would be even better. So Glenn just threw it here. He just made it. Wow. How big a shot is that from Glenn Howard? You can hear it in his voice that he wants this thing.
He does.
6 consecutive blank ends here. Look at this. Great sweeping. He knew he was close out of his hand. Great calling by the crusher.
Wow, this is quite a game, Ian. No score, playing into the 7th end here. But it has not been all that boring. First 4 ends were a little bit open, but...
Well, it's never boring here when you get into a game like this situation, you know, and like I said, you know, these two teams, you know it's going to be close.
Yeah.
Glenn giving Son a little bit of coaching.
Yeah.
Which is always good because obviously he's looking for something right now, and I think he's just trying to settle him down and make sure that his thinking and thought process processes are correct.
We're trying. You gotta go. Should be half. Go, John. It's good, Tim. It's good.
Which way? Out? I think that's all there. Yeah. Line only. All right. Top 8 if you can. Line's good. Looks heavy. I think we're heavy. Tell him to throw a lighter. That's through.
Well, that's not what Glenn Howard wants right now, is for Scotty to throw this thing through.
Yeah.
Did it hang on?
Well, for Tim March here, I think in a perfect world, actually, he would probably like to have this one just short of the rings.
Thought tight. Line looks wide. Real tight. Go around, John.
Right? Same sort of weight.
Well, Tim March makes that perfectly, gets it perfectly buried, and now Glenn will get Scott to try to just come down with almost the identical weight he just threw and
Back line. Back line. Room.
try and tap this through.
I don't care. Back line. Close. Adam, you can. It's okay. Just keep curling. Keep curling. Keep curling. Try and take it out, Dave. Try and take it out. It's really close to getting that out. Hard.
Good looking shot. Great sweeping.
Great try, Tony.
Wow. Great sweep by David Mathers to get that out of the rings. Just great control by Scott, though. Sort of makes amends for his first little faux pas.
Right.
I mean, it was.
Hack here. No, just hack.
Patrick Jansen here. Gonna have to be cautious of the
hack.
The Howard Stone in behind. Trying to hit and roll.
You gotta go on that, John. Go, 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 go. Okay. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that biter that Scott threw at the back 12 might come back to haunt the Epping team.
Pretty straight. Yeah, look her over. How heavy? A little bit up. Yep. Yeah. Whoa, yep. Hard. Whoa. Yep. Good. Shot. It's good. Fine. It's good. Oh, it is. It's good. Just normal.
I guess that one's not on at the back, eh, Ian?
No, I think it's just out.
Just out.
Yeah.
All right. Make it a history box.
Whoa.
David Mathers may have poked this out a little bit. And it's going to come up just enough. If it just rolls out, it's going to give John Epping an opportunity here with Matt Cam to get back under cover.
I know, yeah.
So a big shot here for Matt Cam.
Tight line. Just top 8. No. Just let it stop. Real close.
16 seconds there from hog to hog.
Back line. That was a nice look.
I thought you guys had to work that.
Adam Spencer now going to try to tap this thing through with just sort of back line weight.
Whoa, whoa! Close,
Whoa,
close!
whoa.
Gomer, get ready.
Get ready. Whoa, clean, clean, both of you clean. Dave!
Dave!
Dave! Dave! Dave! Dave!
Oh, wow.
Well, they all might have got a little tiny bit greedy there with that. You know, they didn't have to be cute. He had the shot made. They just had to almost have a heavy sweep
Just
coming
8
in.
foot.
You know, and the rock just made a tiny little extra turn, and then the rub. This looks a little heavier out of his hand.
Nope. No. Where?
Matt Cam trying to wire another one
Let
in
it
here.
work. No.
He's trying
no,
to dig.
No. Just let it come in.
Looking pretty nice.
Wow. 2 great shots by Matt Cam here in the 7th end. In a 0-0 game, winner gets to wear the Ontario colors at the Tim Hortons Brier.
Probably.
In. Actually, this way might be better.
Which one?
The hair on
Jams
the
up
right.
back.
No, nose is close, hair this side.
In turn?
Yeah. Whoa, yep, hard, whoa.
Really close, really close. Oh,
Hard, right out.
what a great shot by Adam Spencer.
You know what to do with it.
Wow.
Which way do I go?
Right up.
You see that jump? Yeah.
Feel like you're throwing a guard.
Yeah.
Well, he runs it back. He still does leave the the Epping stone in the rings of the top 12 foot, but now Johnny gets an opportunity to get back in behind the center and get position.
Okay, line's fine. Yep. Starting to curl early.
They got to go really hard on this.
Right here. Right here. Right here.
Well, do we just?
Well,
I guess that's an easy double.
Roll out and then he's.
Might not roll it.
well, with this iso, it is really, really difficult to place the rock exactly where you want it.
Right.
Probably.
And that is the challenge that they're having right now.
Yeah, they've had so many of those draws over curl.
Okay.
So that does leave Glenn with a double here.
Still do.
Kind of another missed opportunity from John Epping.
Feel.
That look good.
I think for Glenn here, he's just going to, if he can slash this out. If John even gets it totally buried, I think Glenn feels like he can probably pick it out
Yeah.
because the guard is very long.
Yeah.
Whoa!
See if they can spin this out. No.
And they do not.
Well, John Epping, you've had a number of chances here.
Where do you want it, John?
To me, this is one of those ones where the sweepers can take it so far and place it. You've got to leave it to your sweepers.
Yeah.
If they're sweeping for a line, I'm not sure if on draws out here you're going to have a chance.
No.
I think it needs to be wide, and then they finish it at the end, and then he can get it totally buried. And anywhere in the rings will force Glenn to make a draw for his single point here.
Okay.
If he gets this top of the button even, Glenn's got a more difficult shot. Yeah.
This has got much better line.
Timothy.
They can just, that's a great shot.
That is a great shot.
I think we play like a back four, back eight, and tap it for one.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I don't mind giving up one.
Well, then I can draw.
Good throw, John.
Good straight draw.
You can.
I could just do a straight draw. I go for this. well, I know, but
Glenn's got a very good point there.
Well,
you like back eight?
it's dicey
I mean,
because it's
why don't you
his
just
out
throw-
turn. And
Well, I'm not.
you know, I think we've seen Scott Howard get some really good movement
That looks good.
on the way he sweeps. Just the way he does it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think David gets the same type of action on it.
I can't.
And the one thing that Glenn really doesn't want to do here is throw through the house weight.
I'll try
Right.
Because if he ends up missing it all, then it ends up being a steal of two.
Yeah.
And I think just in listening into their conversation, they don't mind giving up a steal of one here, but they don't want to give up two.
Yep.
I think he'll be really close to making this. This is right up Glenn's alley.
Oh, then. Close.
Oh, it just picked.
Got it. Go!
Looked like it just picked.
Whoa.
I don't know. Did it pick or did it?
It looked like it just picked. That's going to be a huge steal of 2 points here for the John Epping team in this seventh end. Glenn Howard will keep the hammer, but will now trail by 2.
Wow. Well,
It looked like their brooms were down, so I don't know what to think if it did actually pick or it looked like it did make a little tiny turn.
I don't know.
It's too hard. Shouldn't have done it.
Keep breathing, boys.
Well, they were like back four.
No, we're running good.
And, you know, in a
The intern
curl,
here is running good.
I could.
They don't think it picked.
Take another.
That's what I thought.
Just went a long way. Yeah, didn't it? Anyway.
All right, let's get a juice.
Well, Mary, that is kind of John Epping right now looking like a mentalist. He's kind of got what he wanted here. He's now got the lead, a 2-point lead, but you know what? Never count Glenn Howard out. He has been in this position before, and he knows that you know, John and his team haven't really been in this situation. So you know that this is going to come down to the wire.
It is. And this is where John's team's going to have to really show some mental toughness.
Shots.
Well, now it'll be interesting because does John Epping throw his second stone in the rings or just short? And what do we get into? This is going to be exciting down the stretch here, Mary.
It is.
Halfway. Go, boys.
Okay.
Top 8, so they're asking for this stone to be into the rings here from Tim March.
You really want to?
There. Full 8.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Ready. Throw, Tim.
Even it up, Scott.
Well, Glenn Howard's going to go on the total offense here, and he will throw everything, and even the kitchen sink at John Epping.
Looks like lot. Already deeper than this one.
Well done by Scott Howard here in this 8th end of play with our men's recharge with milk Ontario Provincial Tankard. John Epping 4 and 2 at this point. And Glenn Howard at 4 and 0. Peel by Patrick Jansen. I think Glenn will show a lot of patience here, and we'll see if he'll see if Johnny will flinch here at all in the late stretches of this game.
Heavy?
Oh yeah.
David Mathers maybe coming a tiny bit deeper than he would have liked. I don't think there's a double peel there. That's a long way across. Yep. Patrick Jansen here with the opportunity. Like think he'll make the one peel.
So Ian, when you've been in this situation back in the years when you played with Wernick and Madaw, how did you control the nerves in these last few ends?
Well, the most important thing is you can't think outcome.
Right.
You know, you got to think process here. You got to think, you know, it's one rock,
Finally.
How heavy?
one rock, one end at a time.
See
You
that?
know, you just think you try to.
Mine's pretty good.
You
Weight's
need to
pretty
start
good.
breathing through your gills and really concentrating on feeling the ice with your slider. Well, you know,
Right.
a lot of people they just get so bent on sort of some of the surroundings upon
Mine's real
them.
good.
You know, they
Mine's
talk
real
about
good.
your senses getting to be hypersensitive, and
No.
but you gotta really have to feel it and just concentrate on that. You know, it's one of the reasons why you go practice. You rely on the mechanics of your delivery.
Right.
I like.
Well, that's a perfect draw in there by David Mathers.
What do you guys like?
Okay. Try.
Yeah. The intern. This is. Unless you just rip, Johnny, he's gonna tap. Okay.
Well, it's great to listen in to their mindset here.
Mm-hmm.
Rip it.
Great crowd here this afternoon here at the Canada Summit Center in Huntsville, Ontario, taking in this heated match right now. Matt Cam look like he's just going to peel this stone off, and he does just that.
Yes. Just let that jam roll over to here. Well, you can't. Yeah. No. Leave both. Yeah. Come on down. We got lots
Yeah,
of time.
good idea here.
Well, the thing is, if he played the tap, what it does, it ends up opening. It could open up the slash double for John Epping here.
Yeah.
So I think it's fairly early in the end. We're still on
Want to give him this
on Adam's first stone of this eighth end.
And now the blue one runs into that.
I had air on the
Was in roll. My thought was just hit that.
get
Can't
your
afford that.
happy.
Get it out though.
So they might be able to position it.
Flashes.
I think we just tear, don't we?
Even if you hit roll.
Then he's got to be
in
careful. Like, he
house
can't
for that.
flash. Because if he ever. It's big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good hit. Three.
Yeah. Yeah.
First, like either tap it up right or get the over here.
Then you make it go away.
Or do that.
Well, maybe we try and miss the 7 and tap this to here.
Yeah. There's possibilities.
Chisel onto. I feel like. Man,
I think I'll try and tap this.
I know we got to glue.
Yeah, but then we.
got to
That.
do this. Now we go to there.
Okay. Almost eliminate.
Well, the same
Take
shot. You know, we.
Back ring.
What I love about Glenn Howard is that, to him, it's a team game. It's not him. He's not dictating. He's asking the guys what they want to do. He's getting their input. You know, he's obviously trying to guide them, but it ends up being a team decision.
I love that about Glenn Howard. And I think in the game today, all of these decisions should be team decisions.
Yep.
Trying to throw backline weight here, as we heard, and try to tap the top blue through and roll to the right side of the sheet.
Whoa.
You put the blue right in behind here. It's going to miss the back one. Put it right in behind.
Go on the blue.
Yep, let's go. You got to get it past it, Scott. You gotta get it past.
Not quite.
Okay.
Well, the only thing John has to be careful of is just setting up some angles where he can freeze again.
One more.
Sure.
Because Glenn, well, like I say, Glenn's
straight
not
here, no?
scared in this
Yeah,
situation.
control.
He's going to try to set up a freeze. What did he set up a future angle?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Cam here with his out-turn hit.
Yep.
Well done. So for the time being, Epping lays 3.
Yeah. Yeah, might go into the hole, though.
Kind of. Here. That's as easy.
Yes. Same sort of weight. Look.
Same weight.
Okay.
What turn you think you like? Okay.
Weight, same weight.
Alright, it was a little light. No, just tap it. We want to tap it, beating it. So I need backline at least. Yeah. Same or just a titch more? I laid that down.
He's going to try to chip off this right-hand stone and then flop onto the rock on the button.
Yeah, a little bit. Hard.
Toughest thing when you start bringing your weight down like this, it's all line and weight sensitive.
Whoa, Dave.
Good looking shot here from Adam Spencer in this 8th end of play. What a great shot. Is there enough space? If we go to our overhead camera, can he throw the... Look at this.
Yeah, he probably
No, that's
didn't
the
see
Epping
that.
I
stone.
think I'm okay.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, half a rock or third?
Third's ideal.
Third, then I'm over.
Oh,
Oh,
my.
and he's frozen right on it. I think for John Epping right now, my sense that he needs to tap this a foot, rearrange,
Do you need a wrist?
just rearrange it, and
Not have to touch us. Double your. I'm just thinking if we ever did. Because we are sitting.
they are
here,
second
here.
shot. The problem is
Yeah.
if he tried to splash it out, Glenn's just going to come down here, lock it in the pocket. And then John would have to freeze it right on top of him.
On him.
You know, if you tap this thing a foot, it would stay frozen to him.
Which one of the other guys?
Yeah.
Switch.
Here? You're giving him a deuce. If he makes this freeze here, we're still giving him a deuce. 'Cause we got to rip it. He just
Flip it tight.
that jump.
Well, Mary, do you have any thoughts? What would you do here?
Well, I kind of like your call.
Knows it if you want.
Playing a
you're
little
worried
tap on it.
Him freezing to the back. You knows it. Yeah, that's fine. Do you like that shot? Comes down.
He knows he can't. Here. Still there.
John just going to try to nose this with
Yep. Oh.
with board weight.
Whoa. Whoa.
Just can't spill off it. He has to stay frozen to him.
Whoa. Whoa.
Nice shot, John.
Oh, great shot.
I just let him have that one.
Yeah, but this is beating that.
That's never come into play.
I let you have that one. You have that one. Good line call.
And you go to here, he hits that, he hits two. Then we're in deep trouble.
Yeah,
Can't
well,
get the two of them out, right?
You can still tap it a hair high.
Wouldn't you just tap it there and just
At least if it's
move that
cocked,
to
it
here?
can bounce.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
I
is
think
the-
we gotta leave this there.
No, you just
no.
you just got as long as you got the
As we
angle
listen
on the
into
floor,
Glenn,
you just got to move it a foot. You don't like the outside?
this is kind of the typical cat and mouse game that we're used to with Glenn and
Yeah.
and John.
It only curls.
No, my first one. My first one, I
Yeah,
tapped the
tap
one.
that, that's true.
Yeah.
Tap this one here.
Hit about here.
You're gonna have a rip.
Not quite that heavy.
What Glenn would like to do is actually come down,
You're throwing like
tap this rock a foot,
6 feet less weight
just
than
a tiny bit on the high side. On the side, he's got the broom,
Giving it
Like a lot.
just to release those two rocks.
Yeah. Just like back four. The hair high baby side.
would have been the best. For this comes. It doesn't matter if you can lose one of them. Like you go across top, you could go over there because as long as we stay, just go get it.
Glenn throwing this rock here, his first stone of the eighth end.
Got a curl. Got a
Scott
curl.
Howard and
Whoa, whoa, no,
David
no,
Mathers.
really hanging. Close.
Dave.
Winner blue, Johnny.
Real close. Dave.
Dave.
It's real good. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Really good.
What a great shot that is.
Jeez.
Money. That's perfect.
Great shot.
Well, that is absolutely perfect.
Paper tick sends the 6 into this probably, or just over, but it could go into the 6 in the 8.
Yeah.
Well, for John Epping, the
I got kind of something here. Let's just
he may have to try
right on
and
the
just enough.
I guess you can't throw the guard.
Unless you want to nut the 4 there.
That's what that was my first thought. I thought that's what I mean. If I took this, I'm going to get more.
Do you throw the draw, Ian?
Oh,
It's either or, bud. You got to hit what you see
Yeah.
to stuff it.
Yeah. Agreed. If I paper ticket, I don't think I'm getting balls. To be honest.
Okay, make it. Right up the sheet, John? I'm going to go for the stick.
Try to do the tick thing.
Well, he's just trying to he's trying to jam the 4 on the 6 or on the 8. And he thinks if he paper ticks it, he might
Might
get
get
them
them
all.
all. Yeah.
If he ever
Seems like, oh boy.
if he ever jams it over here though.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Yes. Yes. Give me a break.
Sorry.
Come on.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
just catch that thin and jam it over here.
Can I get?
It's okay.
I mean, two's pretty important.
I get 2 though.
Well, I think you just clip light and then jam into.
I don't think I can tap this.
I'm thinking.
Oh yeah.
Just board, clip
No,
that, and jam.
That's
Almost.
that's going
Yeah.
nowhere. It's gonna. Time.
Okay. Well then,
Is one good enough?
then throw it
That's what I'm thinking.
normal, same shot.
The good news though, as long as I hit this into there, we get 1. Don't we?
As long as that moves far enough.
I think it goes in.
Well, there's a possibility of a triple here.
Is there air to go through?
If Glenn hits, well, the problem is that he's got to fracture
Nah,
it
you gotta throw Peel.
without touching his own Yellowstone, and he may get all 3 of the blues.
It's
The
gonna
only-
tick.
the only-
It's
the only
probably
pro-
gonna tick the yellow.
The only problem with Peel is if you catch that too thick, you lose your shooter.
I gotta go for this. Though.
That's gone.
Is
Like
one
you
good
want
enough?
to try it for 3? What do you think?
I don't hate it. If I miss the yellow, I get yeah. If I miss the yellow, they'll go. I think it's like as long as I don't hit more than
Scary ones.
a third to
These
an
are the
8,
scary
that
ones.
should jam in there. There we go.
Okay. Looking like about there. Yeah.
Right.
What do you got?
Bit more.
Okay.
Oh, he almost had it. No. Yeah, that top one went up for
Well,
four.
for Glenn Howard here, huge shot with his final rock in the 8th end of play. Trying to throw the triple takeout.
Whoa! Yep.
Really close. Really close. Might be getting too much.
Are you kidding me?
Wow. Glenn Howard gets 1 point after all that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's only 1 point for Glenn.
Yeah, I think so.
He actually hit it too thin.
Too thin?
Too thin because it jammed. And I don't think he thought jamming was even possible. Huge drama here in the 8th end of play. What a great attempt by Glenn Howard.
Breaks that in. Holy shit.
We're going to replay at that. Look at this. David Mathers, they had it the whole way down. He threw it perfectly. Absolutely perfect. Look at this. He just slivers it.
Set it back. I didn't
And it,
jump it.
Well, he would
I think that's why right there. It just he actually hit too thick. He just glanced off his own Yellowstone and redirected it straight onto the other blue. So at the conclusion of 8 ends of play,
told him when he left.
we have John Epping leading Glenn Howard by 2 points to 1. John Epping will get the hammer for the first time in this game.
All right, Timmy, nice 2 draws here.
Got tight. What do you got? Yeah, are we going tight with this one though?
Where are we? Just not half.
I
Tight?
think it is tight though.
I think it can go. Really.
For
pick it,
Scott
pick it,
Howard.
pick it.
Imperative to keep these rocks in play in front of the rings.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit too much over curl on that one.
It missed the yellow. Right?
Well,
Yeah.
but even for John Epping here, like
Thinner.
here's where
Good, Tim.
maybe my strategy would differ from him is that I would throw it to the wing.
To the wing, the other opposite side.
Thicker and missed the yellow.
Yeah.
Well, because anything around the 4 foot can only benefit
Weight was good.
Glenn Howard.
Top 8.
They were shot by like
What is a rattle?
I kind of rattled both
Because
of them.
Glenn's going to have it. He's going to be either
Real close.
all in for the steal
No, we're real
Yeah.
close.
or all in
Top
to,
eight.
to force John to a single point.
It is a whoa.
And I'm thinking, given the situation, that
Fine, Tim.
Glenn
Sorry,
would
bud.
probably have a really
Go.
good chance at getting 3 coming home. Only be similar to that last end.
You're right.
And I think all
On-
Glenn
on
Howard
line this
wants
one up?
is a shot.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe cheated a bit.
You don't, yeah, not much though.
Not much though.
Oh, you threw it good. It was our fault.
Well, that
yeah.
picked, eh? This is way tighter.
Hair higher would have been.
That was there. All right.
"27-year-old Scott Howard here being asked to throw a second center guard.
Good.
Scott, obviously the son of Glenn.
It is there. I thought freeze.
I like it to curl if you can, but on its own.
Well, it's going to be tight.
Lock it on, right on the nose. Yep. Okay.
Well,
What's that?
it's not covering the button, but the issue is that it's right in line here. Once again, there's no reason for John to go around these rocks. If he went to the side 12 foot, he would probably secure a second point here. Because he's going to walk
Wait's
up
real
and,
good.
and run that, and
Yeah.
where's he? That rock
Let's
right
go
now
to
is
the
going to be
inside.
running right into this
We're
shot
there.
stone. And if he puts another one in there, they still might be running in there. And
Fully.
depending on where this ends up, Glenn might even tap it back there.
Real close. Hard. Oh boy.
That's probably coming back. I was thinking here, but if that comes back, he's going to make it all.
Intern,
Can we get there?
bit of a guess speed-wise, but
I know, but we got to get it in there. Oh, I can get rid of both, but it's going to hit this probably for sure. You like this?
what about a high center?
Awful.
Well,
Good go.
pushes it in, it might be good for us.
That's pretty good. Can't get them all. Let's go here. Yeah. Perfect world. That's the shot if you could do it. And I'd love you to tap that to here. I hear you. But I don't like that. Don't strike. Go there then.
Well, for 26-year-old David Mathers, this is a huge moment in his curling career. Trying to make the freeze on the Epping stone on the 4 foot.
Oh, not heavy. Can't be heavy. That looks real heavy. Through.
Through.
Oh, geez.
Glenn might want to pull the boys aside right here and get them breathing through their ears.
Okay.
Well, for David Mathers, that's very unfortunate. You know, that's where with the difference with this team, with if Richard Hart was out there, Richie he guides them and coaches them as they're going through. You know, for Adam Spencer, this situation is new to him.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's almost
I
better if
think
he
that's
makes
what
it
a guy
range
like
and then we can
Richie
play it.
he brings to this team, is that he brought that quiet confidence and just says, here's what to think about. Just don't overthrow it. Here's the
Right.
weight to throw. Here's what to focus on. For John Epping now,
Can you peel these, Ian, without
Well, I think he
Something
still
on
gets
that,
some
like-
carry if he hits it high side. And
You pick the one, and if you touch it, you move it over. It's great. Give it a whirl. Even if it goes into the house, it's still not the end of the world. It's going to be spinning hard. Quarter's close.
well, the only problem with this shot is that they're really unsure where the back Howard Stone
yeah.
is really going to go. Patrick Jansen trying to get it
You
back
gotta go,
here.
Tim. Hard, Tim. Hard, Tim. Great shot.
Wow.
That works.
And the fact that he
That
left it in the
works.
rings too
Very, very nice shot.
is just
Guess it went
spectacular.
in pretty easy.
It's a foot tight.
Yeah. Not bad.
Just short. Right here.
Ooh, it looked like it just.
Now for Glenn, he's got to try to reestablish the center.
Not in. Can't be in.
And then for John Epping, they will have to try to navigate the peels without hitting any of those stones in the rings.
What do you like, Crush? 3? Can't give up 2.
Oh, my
What a great shot by Patrick Jansen. Here in this ninth end of our men's recharge with milk, Ontario Provincial Tankard. The winner to move on and represent Ontario at the Tim Hortons Brier. Slated for Regina, Saskatchewan, the first week of March.
That looks pretty close.
That. Line's good.
By the way, line's good. Close.
Room, a little bit of room.
Adam going to try to lock this
Line,
on
close
at this
to it.
point.
Yes.
Make it good, guys. Line's great.
Yeah, it's
Easy.
real good.
Easy if
You gotta
you
go.
can.
You gotta go. Lines. Whoa.
At this point, if
Line's perfect.
Glenn could even get a blank
Yeah,
out of
Scott,
here,
Scott,
he
Scott,
might
you gotta
get
go.
another opportunity in the 10th end.
Just lost line at the end.
Well, that's what we said with John's rocks earlier. Is that at the end they just seem to go really they just go sideways, and you kind of lose where your position. So it's difficult for the sweepers to position that rock. Matt Cam going to try to take these out and make sure he hangs his shooter around.
Hide! Whoa!
There's a great stone by Matt Cam. Very well done.
You might be able to go over the top.
Want to just throw normal then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which turn?
I like the in turn.
Okay.
Thanks.
Normal?
I think you can go firm.
Firm normal?
Yeah.
Well, at this point now, Glenn is hoping he can bail out of this end and get a blank if he can.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Close. Whoa.
Whoa. Off.
Okay.
Well, I think Adam just overthrew that at just a smidge and ran totally straight. This will once again give
No forgiveness. Oh, really good.
John the opportunity. to nose it in light too, and keep the rocks well spaced.
Easy. Real close. Gotta go.
Want to hang it around right there. Oh, well thrown by Matthew Cam, and this point in this game,
Played a big role.
this
with
ninth
a
end.
Solid board.
Okay.
Yeah,
4
but
rocks to come
even if you roll over here somewhere.
in the late part of this end.
I hate giving a run at it. If I make a roll over there, then
I think our best chance is just
I can make it with board.
good board. You can make the double if you hit it right. If you roll over there, that's pretty good.
Okay, solid board.
Where do you think? Like here?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, let's stuff this thing.
Patties went for fun, eh?
Get ready, boys.
Patties went for fun. That was a great speed.
Well, Glenn going to try to
I just
pull the weight down a smidge just so he can make the roll, just because it's so straight over on this spot with any type of weight that it's so release sensitive. He wants to give it a chance to get it over there.
Close.
real close.
Close. Scott, go.
All right, Scott.
Go. Go.
Ready, Dave? Ready?
Go.
over
Get it
there,
over there. Go. Go way over. Go.
Okay. It's pretty
What a
good.
great shot by Glenn Howard. Basically trying to group
Hey,
the
I was
rocks
yelling at him.
so he can make a double,
going,
hopefully with
Scott,
his
go.
last stone, and get a blank out of this end. And then regroup
you're
for
done?
the 10th end.
This is the chance that we jump.
For John Epping now, very key to maybe hit and roll a foot
One end
to the
later.
right towards the center of the sheet. Right from my location, our location, and left from the hack. And you can start to feel the tension mount in this building.
You can.
Yep, real hard. Really gotta go. Hard pat. Hard pat.
Whoa.
Keep going.
Don't want to jam this
Keep
thing.
going,
You want to
keep
hold your
going.
shooter here too.
Oh my.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, this is decision time for Glenn Howard, and it doesn't even look like it's much
Got a
of a
good read on
decision.
mine.
Yeah.
He's going to try to freeze to the face of this
mine
stone and
probably
hold John
right
to
there.
1 point.
Way out here.
100%.
They can
Good
finish it
throw.
if they have to.
I thought you were full. Yeah.
I don't know if that's enough.
Just 4, 7 shots.
But the vulnerability of this shot is that you are at the mercy of the conditions, and you wouldn't want to see any form of a pick at this time, because it would just it would impact the outcome of this game. So hopefully Glenn can lay this down, freeze this on a back stone, and force the single. Otherwise, John Epping will have a shot at either 2 or 3. Boys were thinking a little bit light out of their hands.
Line's tight.
A little,
Yeah, you gotta go
little
hard.
different
Gotta go.
portion of the sheet.
Yeah,
Mark.
he threw this a
Misses.
little light and tight.
Get it in. Gotta be shot. Make a play on it. Go.
69.
Go, guys.
Wow. For John Epping,
I had to lay it down. Fast.
this is the draw that could send him to the Tim Hortons Briar.
4? Yeah.
He gets this 3rd point. And it is monumental. Huge point.
Line's good, boys. Should be running the good stuff.
Don't know if
They're running
Glenn
in the good
Howard
stuff.
would concede
starting
or
to
if
snap
he would
now.
throw them back.
Curl pretty hard.
This
Like this is starting to move pretty hard.
All the way, Patty.
Pat Jansen, Tim March trying to get this into the rings.
It's sweet.
And there it is! John Epping will finally win the Ontario Championship here. Our men's recharge with Milk Tankard, and there's your champion, John Epping.
Wow. Look at that. Great for John and the boys. Wow. Oh
Class
my.
act, Glenn Howard. You cannot say enough about him and what he's done for this game in Ontario and around the world. It's unfortunate that it has to come down to a one-game situation, and it's winner take all at the end.
Oh, so great for that Epping team.
Well, congratulations to John Epping, Matthew Cam, Patrick Jansen, Tim March, and their coach, Jim Rockbottom Wilson. They will represent Ontario at the Tim Hortons Brier in the first week of March. Wow, that is just a monumental breakthrough for John and his team.
Yeah, it certainly is. Those guys have been knocking on this door for a few years now.
Really unfortunate. You know, it was such a defensive game early.
Yes.
But I think John didn't want to let them get out to an early lead. You know, and
Yeah.
I don't know if the Glenn's last rock in that seventh end, if it just sort of got a little bit tighter into some pebble,
Yeah.
and it made a little turn, and they ended up racking on the guard. Well, now it is inconsequential. So John Epping will win this game by a score of 5-1, and will wear the colors of Ontario.
Yeah, we will see a new Ontario team at the Brier this year.
Okay, here's the replay of that shot, John's last shot.
Well, they really had to work it.
And look at that. Well, for John Epping and his team, just nothing but absolute pure elation.